Hello everyone and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. We have more ranked gameplay for you guys today. It is a 1v1 between myself and Khafanana, who, while it is spelled in Cyrillic, I can pronounce it, I don't know what it means. We're both first lieutenants, and this is pretty common. It's what we saw previously a little bit when I was playing against Ohana as well. And I've made it from second lieutenant up to first lieutenant. We're just keeping on going, a couple of ranked games in a row, and I wanted to try something a little bit different. Instead of attacking into the Delta side town, I meant to go over here. Now, here's the goofy thing. Instead of taking this left side road and going up, all of my stuff has taken the road on the right and gone over. I do definitely still make these mistakes, and this is a mistake because most of this column is going to be visible to my opponent pretty early on. We also see a plane by from Khafanana, and my Tiger is trying to get a couple of cheeky shots in, but this Block 15 hits him with one missile, and then something there was unloaded, probably a Manpad's team, that took out my Tiger. So right away, this is looking pretty rough. I do often say I like to lose the opener and win the long game, but this one in particular should be familiar to a couple of you guys who are on boot camp, because I actually asked for advice and a little bit of backseating during, just because I've never tried this strategy before. So keep in mind it's me, but it's me with a little bit of advice as well. Some on buys, some I do take, some I don't take. I'll point out, as far as I remember, which is which. Now, my VBL Mistral also gets a little out ahead of the pack. I was sort of panicking at this moment, trying to get everything going where it should be going, and also seeing this huge opener from Khafanana going into Delta, which I should have expected in hindsight, but I didn't, and that's just sometimes how it goes. Now, here's the thing. We do get into the town. I have Commando Marine, I have Legion 90. If this got bombed, I would have been incredibly sad. But as it is, it doesn't look like it will be, probably because there was a plane first buy, or at least expensive buy, from Khafanana earlier on. Now, he does have double automatic. This is going to be Scandinavia that we're going up against. Of course, we do have the Swedish tanks and the Danish automatic, so that does tell us what we're looking at here. And I have a Milan team, Commandos Para, Fuchs Milan, trying to make sure that my opener into this town in the center of it doesn't cost me the entirety of my side of the field, which is definitely a very real concern. I really didn't like losing Commandos Para on that end. I'm just sneaking around at the 1390 and a Vistral. We're going this way, and I'm trying to get a couple of reservists just to fill in to walk up into these sections of woods, because believe it or not, that can be a pretty significant roadblock. So I do have double stacks, well, 2 squads of Commandos Para here, just trying to make sure I have good optics, redundant optics over on this side, but losing the VBL Mistral right now is going to cost me a lot of comfort, because watch this, Commandos Para, shoot, now they're visible. Double automatic and STRV 103Ds, they are gone. That's it. That quick, it's over. We did kill a Bell 204, but I need these guys in the town. If I lose this town, I've now lost the game. So, on advice from some players in boot camp, I was headed over as well with the Vabs to this side, just trying to make sure that I have some in the trees. Maybe I can get some fire sport in, getting some infantry up in the town, up in the forest here to the left, along with the 2A4, but that's the Fennec Toe 2. I don't yet have replacement anti-air other than the VBL Mistral on the left, which luckily for me was just in range to get the kill, which had to have been a bit of a shock to my opponent, seeing those missiles come from sideways instead of downfield. So now he does know that VBL Mistral is there. He knows that, yep, this Foxtrot zone is what I'm playing for, and because of that, everything is moving over. This looks a bit like a panic reaction, to be honest, but it might still be a successful panic reaction if I'm not very careful. So Legion 90 here do have the long-range AirX missiles, but I need to have them not get stunned. So if I move over and I'm not careful enough and we do start shooting in at infantry and those automatics get their way, I'm going to lose the Legion just as quickly as I lost those Commandos Para. And on the other hand, if I can take out the automatics, I have Commando Marine in this section of town. I'm trying to get more reinforcements up as well, and we might be able to have a really good fight instead. Now, we do see the automatics. I have my tertiary turned off so we don't auto-fire. We get one of them, looking for the second one here, but it's moved back into the smoke, and now there's False Jaeger 90. This fight, I don't want to take with the Legion 90. I want the Commando Marine to be doing this, but we run into that 5-second cooldown on infantry moving in towns before we can get over. Now, here's another important thing. CV9030Ns, expensive, 25 points each, Bushmaster 2s, and usually some pretty good infantry, probably Stormers, things like that, in those. And we're going to just bust them like a couple of out-of-place 5-point boxes if the upper 2A4 has anything to say about it. So here's really 2 misses. I do a whole game, I do a whole recording, I zoom in on this 2A4, and the best you can do for me is 2 misses? Seriously? Ugh. Just my luck. So yeah, there are a Stormer now in that section of woods up there, and to avoid that, to avoid that happening again, I'm trying to bust the CV9030Ns from farther afield. Now, we are smoking here. I was a little bit wary of a cluster bomber, anything like that, and the fight in the center has not gone super well because there was a bomber call from the blue 4 player, but that means there's fewer points on the ground, and with the CV9030 end buys, that's looking pretty expensive. So if I can hold here, that's going to be very nice. And we do get the other automatic kill. Milan 2 double stack hot dropped into the action inside their range. Don't always recommend that, but it's what I had at the time, and now they're going to be moving forward. Along the Flux Milan's trying to screen out some of my opponent's supporting elements as the Legion 90 and Commando Marine, who are panics, and I did want them out of combat because Foster Jaeger 90 are not as upset as they are going to be having to do a lot of work here. I can't lose these False Jaeger 90. If I do, I lose the town. I lose that to expensive, high-performance infantry. I'm not going to be able to get it back, and that's just unacceptable at this point in time. I need to have that be a win, so I'm trying to mortar in, trying to get a couple of stuns there, but I think I just missed. Yeah, that was intended to go to the town, and probably fortunately for me, my opponent withdrew. I don't really know why he withdrew. It could be because these had infantry in them, but I don't think so, because they are not unloading right now. There's nothing surviving that, which, of course, they might not with the Eric's 25 AP power, and we do get a plane kill right there off of the double roll in 3. I love the double roll in 3 so much. Properly microed and in good position, this thing just... it's going to be a pretty good way of ensuring your opponent makes one-way trips in the air more often than not. Not every time, but certainly some of the time. Now, my other reservists did get a little bit into danger because of these STRV 103Ds, and I do still want the kills there. My opponent's Smoke Micro is going to be blocking off line of sight from the Legion 90, and I didn't wait long enough with the Commando Marines. They're still panicked. I'm now probably going to be losing at least one of them as I'm trying to reverse out of here, but this is a larger gap than it otherwise could be, and Legion 90, again, not the best fighters against things like Liv Garden and those False Jaeger 90 necessarily, and we do lose a Commando Marine to the STRF. So a little bit sloppy play. My reservists are there just in time, but I need something with more punch. We have more infantry in the VAB T-2013s that I've promptly forgot about because I'm trying to maneuver over here, trying to get my 2A4 around, and I really didn't know how to lock down this zone at this point in time, which it's a difficult thing to do, to figure out if you've never done it before successfully in a ranked game, in a 1v1 game. Very different from team games for this sort of thing, and so I was trying to figure it out. I was trying to listen to couple people backseating me as well, advising on, okay, get more infantry up here, push these reservists forward. It really does help to have people say a couple things about micro that you might just forget during the game. So this is not necessarily a fair match, and for that I do apologize. It's not exactly the most gentlemanly thing to do to play the game with the backseat as well, at least in a ranked game instead of a friendly game, but this is the only one that I've done for that in a long, long time. So I guess if we're going with the everybody gets one rule, I suppose. Now, Leopard 2A4 is going to be shooting at some Liv Garden, trying to prevent them from getting in, and this is something that I missed. I don't know if you guys saw that blue blip right there, but that's an ATGM team. We have to get the heck out of dodge before that 2A4 comes under fire. In the meantime, more VABs are blocking that off. We have a Block 15 taking fire from rolling 3s, and yeah, that time we didn't quite get the kill. Evac order does keep that plane alive, but if he had been any slower on his micro, that plane would have circled just a bit more, and we would have gotten a nice kill. Now, I see the M41A1s, I promptly forget about the ATGM that I just retreated from, and I want these shots on target because my rolling 3s are very far forward. Between them and the Milan 2s, those are the only tools that I have to really slow this down. M41A1s are always a threat, never think otherwise, but the Legion 90 get over, and we get 1, 2 STRV 103Ds, the second one. They're making a bit farther out than the first, and I'm starting to feel decently confident so long as I can keep these tanks away, but I can't. There's the M41A1s, they see my rolling 3s, I'm very sad about this. If they land any hits, it's going to be a bad time, so I'm just getting out of there, bringing up some Martyr 2s, which I think will do okay against M41A1s in combat, but it did cost me my 2A4, which, let's think about what I just showed you guys, right? I showed you the 2A4 shooting in, we looked over here, we saw the SGRV 103Ds, we saw the Legion shoot in, get those kills, and then we had to micro back out the rolling 3s, and while that was happening, this guy's dead. That's exactly how it happened during the match, and I completely missed it. So, yeah, not ideal. Not ideal, I think sums that up pretty well. VBL Mistral does take out another scout helicopter, but now the Blue 4 player has some forces in Foxtrot, and I've played this game before. I have been in Foxtrot and gotten pushed out and lost the game, so I'm going from feeling a little bit good about having won this town to feeling pretty badly about how this is going. I don't really know why I did this. Oh man, never do this. So Command Infantry and a Panther moving forward into Foxtrot, and I wanted to cap Fox before Charlie, because I just straight up forgot that I hadn't capped Charlie yet. So everyone makes mistakes. I was trying to get the Panther in, I was trying to get another zone just to get a little bit of tick here. We are 10 minutes in, 0 tick on Mudfight, which can be a risk, early tick on this match. on this map rather does count for quite a lot, and I didn't quite manage to do it. So that's the intention here, just get a little bit of ticking score for myself in Foxtrot, and then buy another CV for Charlie, because, yeah, wow, should have done that first. Yeah, interesting choices. Anyway, Legion 90 and Commando Marine taking out the last of the Dragoner. I was surprised and impressed by how long these guys stayed alive until I realized my Commando Marine aren't actually engaged. They have the wrong facing, and I need to click on the Dragoner in order to make them fight, which is very annoying to say the least. But, yeah, I think the Dragoner are actually still alive. They moved over, or my Commando Marine just aren't fighting. It's quite annoying. But we do get a little bit of revenge there. That's Vab does take out the enemy ATGM team that killed my 2A4. I have Panzergren, I have Martyr 2s, I have a lot of potential in this forest, but the shocks need to stay away from the edge of the woods. This is something that it took me a while to do, and when I'm stressed, I will still make this mistake of having my shocks go a bit too far forward and get, therefore, shot by things at the edge of the towns. But yep, there goes the... Ooh, wait. Did we get it there, or did he get stunned? Interesting. Anyway, we are moving forward in Fox. I do have some forces here, but we lost the left-hand side, and I like to hold this because it prevents people from creeping up in these woods and getting closer than you might think with recon infantry or similar. My opponent has gone for a free cap in Alpha. Can't really blame him on that. I haven't contested this the entire time. I don't really intend to. I want to win this match in Delta and Foxtrot. That's my win condition right there. So as long as I can defend myself, which you see I'm pulling out a couple of reservists. Now the placement here was also from a little bit of backseating. Ordinarily I would have gone for right there or the edge of this town instead of the edge of the woods. Not sure that makes too much of a difference, but a little bit better play in a lot of places makes for a lot better game. So my thanks to that. And it was really annoying. Look at this. Commando Marine right there. There's the Dragoner. The Dragoner are killing my Commando's para, while the Commando Marine are sitting around with their thumbs up their butts, not doing a darn thing. Quite annoying. Very annoying. All their guns are on, by the way, but I had to move them over onto the Dragoner, and now, finally, we should take these guys out pretty quickly. Commando Marine don't want to mess around with those guys at all. That's a Beacon. So as I said earlier, my opponent is playing Scandinavia. The Beacon is now up. That means that static positions with infantry are going to take an absolute pounding. I need to be aware of that. And I probably should have had... Yep, see? They're right. Too close to the edge. I should have probably had some reservist spam going forward as well, just leaving a couple of them in these different sections of woods. Maybe a couple of them in the large section of woods as well, just to provide a little bit more meat for my Panzergren 90 and Martyr 2s that are very expensive and quite irreplaceable. If you start losing these, it's a lose condition for Eurocorps players. You lose that expensive stuff, and there goes the game. And there's a Fennec Toad 2. I was hoping to get a kill on him, but my Martyr 2s start firing at the CV9030 ends, and while they would have won that fight in a vacuum, there's a stun coming down from the enemy artillery. There's, very high damage from that, and the Fennec Toad 2 is screening me out pretty effectively here, and I didn't quite know what to do. Should have bought a VBL Mistral a long time ago. My Roland 3s are too far away, and with the ATGMs killing 2A4 earlier, I was a bit cagey to move them any farther forward. But this is a very nice combined arm push. So we have Fennec Toad 2, CV9030 ends, there's an STRB-103D over there, there's going to be some infantry dropped off that are going forward, and my Peace Rhine was a bit too late to get the free kill on the STRV. Now, it does pull into Block 15, and if I can get out here, the Block 15 overextends, that could be good. Let's see, and nope, that's going to be evac ordered. He does have very nice control of that plane. So, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, okay, we have a +1 tick. We have a +1 tick that we can very easily lose because all my opponent needs to do is counter-cap me in Foxtrot, and then it becomes a fight over who can cap Delta better. So my reservists are moving forward to make that, hopefully, me instead of him. I should have also probably moved the Commando Para over to this side just to get a bit more vision in that corner. But I was just thinking to myself, okay, we'll have some infantry forward, we'll have some visibility forward, even if they're not recon, we'll have some ability to see, and that might go a long way. So Martyr 2s now are opening up on the Fennec Toad 2, and this was just kind of heartbreaking. Only one of them engaged, and because of that, we didn't get a stun, we didn't get a kill, and the Fennec Toad 2 does get another one of my Martyr 2s before I can do anything about it. Strip BV-90, this is what I was talking about for the counter cap, and while that helicopter does go down, now we're in a tough situation. The Panzergren 90 are, even though they had their secondary on, they weren't quite in range before they got stunned to take out the CV9030 ends. Now we're going to be taking shots. Bushmaster 2s to side armor is really brutal, and we do have to deal with them. Finally getting one of those kills with Panzergren 90, but don't underestimate CV9030N. They are very good, very capable, and even though they're 5 points cheaper, they perform often quite similarly from what I've seen to Martyr 2s, so of course we do get the second one there with the Panzergren 90, and now these guys versus Stormer. The Stormer are panicked. We should get the kill there, particularly with the Martyr 2 fire support. but that was very much not a clean fight. Took a lot of losses, a lot of expensive, hard to replace losses there, and it definitely was not my favorite thing. Also, we should note there's an LVKV90 here. That means that my Peace Rhine cannot get in, get out for free anymore. This guy can stun, can kill him. It's not quite as powerful as an automatic, but I think my opponent probably took the automatics outvetted, and then having lost 2 of them relatively early on is being a little bit cagey about it. I certainly don't blame him for that. We have pretty much killed all the Stormer. I think you get the kill there the last second, and then, yep, there it is. There's the shots, there's the kill, and then, oh, there's the kill. And then I retreat back, because I didn't want to walk into a position where there could be pre-sighted B-canning, because if someone's trying to lead you back, if they're retreating their units and you chase them, odds are they're going to artillery the position that they're retreating through, because by the time the artillery lands, their stuff is out, your stuff is in, and sure enough, here comes the B-can. I guess he hadn't counted on me advancing too far, but yeah, that certainly would have been painful. Now on this side, STRF 9040, nice target for the Milan 2 if I can land it, and nope, because the answer to how many Milan 2s it takes to hit something is always 1 more than you currently have firing. So we'll go in for second shot, see if we can get any sort of luck here, and there it is. But the RBS 56 did drop off, so if I landed the first one, that would have been a different story. Now there's ATGMs in that town, which means that my Flix Milans are going to be in quite a lot of danger. And I now have a VBL Mistral, I have Rollins, but no investment on the left side of Fox, and that could well come back to bite me as this game goes into, I guess it's closing roughly 10 or so minutes. We are 55 points to 0, but if I get ground out in Foxtrot, that's going to be a loss. If I can't maintain on Delta, that's going to be a loss because Alpha is given up pretty much for free. And, well, giving it up for free is never a good idea, let alone in Wargame where every single point matters on a hard to take, hard to contest, +1 zone sort of map like Mudfight. This also really hurt, so I don't know if he saw my stuff there or not, or just figured let's just B-can something. But I lose one of the Roland 3s, and these guys are much less effective in single units than they are in pairs, not to mention all 3 of my anti-air pieces just got panicked and potentially damaged there as well, so that was pretty stressful. I am bringing into a 4, I was floating a couple of points here, so we have some reservists coming in as well, and I really want the LVKV90 kill, but there's bells, there's more stuff, he's gonna try and push me out again, and this time I'm not quite so sure I'll be able to stop him, particularly because I don't have Martyr 2s here anymore, other than this one on the side, but he is damaged, and the Panzergrenadier 90 are not full strength either, so that could get ugly real quick, particularly when there's an automatic that will just wreck my Martyr 2. Look at this, gone. He only needed to hit me once, there's the kill. It's just crazy, it's an anti-everything piece of equipment, one that really needed to die in a fire yesterday, so yeah, whenever you see an automatic, everything around it is not safe. Whether it's a plane, helicopter, whether it's a flipping tank, an automatic can and will get the kill if you are not careful, and if you're not particular. So my hope here was to unload these reservists, which I completely failed to do, and then get a long-range kill with the Erics on the automatic. We're just on the edge of range. There's the first shot, and swing and a miss. It's always a swing and a miss, I swear. It's just so unfortunate. The automatic burns through the other 2 units of reservists, and gets through so much before I can even fire again. Here it is, there's the shot, there's the kill, but I really wish I can start landing the first shot more often, because when I don't, it gets ugly real quick. Now this is what I was talking about, Jägeri from Hafanana, and they are really far forward, and if I didn't have my own infantry on this side, we would never have seen them. As it is, they even killed my AMX-13 BTTs. Reservists on their own won't be enough to get the kill on them. We do snipe a tank back here, and enough of this is going my way, where even if this is contested, now that I've capped Delta, now that I have all these infantry pretty far forward in Delta, I'm feeling decently comfortable with winning this game through a long, slow +1 tick, if that's what it takes. Ideal? No. Possible? Yeah, I'd say so. I think, particularly with the tank losses, with the CV9030N losses, with the automatic, we have been able to get a fair amount of value here out of Hafanana's forces, even while potentially losing more than I would like in return. And I don't know, it's going to be a while before I start having cleaner 1v1 ranked games. I do spend most of my time in this game playing team games, which are really just, I just love them. I think they're a lot of fun. So that is where I spend most of my time, and it is a very different skill, although the better you get at your micro for even things like 1v1s, the better those team games are going to be. Now we trade into a block 15. Technically, I think a worthwhile trade for me by a couple of points, but I hate losing my Peace Rhines. I only have 2 of them, and they're really capable, really flexible units. So having lost that, I'm going to be a little bit cagey. Moving back into the smoke, I need more infantry on this side to push that in, because there's still an LVKV90, there's another healthy STRB-103D, and these guys can kill even the even the tougher leopards because of the rate of fire if they get the right angle. So very positional tank, very defensive tank, but in the right position they just go absolutely crazy. It's insane. I've seen these guys. I've killed what was it? I killed a BU, a Soviet BU, super heavy tank with a double stack of SCRBs. But this is exactly what I was afraid of. There's just more stuff here than I can deal with. We're going to be moving backward. The 2A4, there's also a Fennec Toe 2 again in the back end of this zone, probably looking for that 2A4 kill if you can get it. Here it comes. Smoke needs to be on the way already, but I only have 1 round left. My new mortar coming up just in the nick of time, potentially, as we do need to smoke off this leopard. It's so stressful. Goodness gracious sakes alive. First shot in. Trying to take it on the front armor. We do. 2 points damage. Okay, sure, we can take a couple more hits, but this is exposing side armor to anything that might be coming from a different direction, and it's forcing me to retreat out of the line of the trees, because I need to keep that front facing here, or I just die right away. So the Fennec 2-2, another missile coming in, another hit that time. Oh geez, 4 damage off that. Don't know what was causing. Maybe I had already taken 2 damage? Yeah, I think I had. Anyway, very much not ideal. My Milan's also getting taken out by constant beacon fire. And just then, the only saving grace for that 2A4 was that the Fennec 2 was probably a bit too scared of my anti-air, which no longer exists. I've lost both the Rolands, I've lost my Mistral, and that Block 5 is what people are, of course, afraid of from Scandinavia. It right-clicks your tank is dead, and we can see from the spread there, that almost certainly was a right-click, I think, on top of my tank, which means that some of the bombs are just going to roll hits, and then I lose the tank. So we've lost the 2A4, was not able to keep him alive, a little bit better smoke micro, probably would have been able to. But then, if I have a small ball of smoke and he has a cluster bomber, I wonder where he's going to tell the cluster bomber to fire, so even that is not exactly safe. At this point in time, holding on to Delta is a must. I have a 1390 over here, should be able to handle this chaff. I need 1390s on this side. I'm bringing up 2A1, we're bringing in more reinforcements as quick as I can go. 1390s, Gepard A2. I need more reservists probably, and I do have Martyr 2s with Panzergrenadier 90. We're going to try something a bit cheeky here and see how well it works. So just keeping them, instead of the expected position in that section of trees, we're going to be keeping them in the woods right outside it. So I am really just excited to show you guys how well or poorly that goes. Because, I don't know, it might be a small innovation, it might be something where you guys tell me in the comments, oh no, people do this all the time, exactly, here's why. But it was new to me. So I am getting my command infantry the heck out of dodge, and some long-range fire from Martyr 2s is pretty nice. So you can see my opponent moving back a little bit. He sees the Leopard 2A1, I'm sure he sees these Martyr 2s. There's a puff coming in, just trying to clear the way for probably another cluster bomber, is my guess. And if he does come in with that, my Martyr 2s are in trouble, my Leopard 2A1 is in trouble. A single Gepard A2 is not going to be good enough for that. We do, of course, have the radar gun off. And dealing okay with the Dragoner in this section. They're slowed down dealing with my reservists, but there are still a lot of them, and I only have 3 shots left. It won't be enough to kill them all, so that is a little bit scary here for the hold on Delta. But I mean, I do still have Commandos Para, I have some Legion 90 here that need to be healed up, but they do still exist, and I might even be able to get my Milan 2 over if need be. KWS coming in, I wanted the Block 5 with it, but I'll take a shot at the puff to get the Block 5. He did get another cluster round off on my 2A1, but that I don't think was a right click. I think that was a fire at position. You can see the more even spread, it's a bit less densely clustered, more of a circle, and my 2A1 is alive and well enough to fire in at the LVKV-90, who itself was shooting my Gepard A2. Quite rude. Not a fan. Yeah. So, group to Commandant, and I've smoked right here. We're going to be moving up into it, which is not advisable, and then moving over. At this point in time, I think somebody said, hey, don't move your command infantry up into a beacon. And I was sitting there going, oh, yeah, that probably would have been smart. Instead, it's exactly what I do. Here comes another Block 5. But all these air buys are good for me, because it means that he doesn't have more numbers coming down right now onto the field, which, if he did, I would have been pretty toast. So, always think about that when you're going to buy a plane. Does your opponent want you to buy a plane or not? So we have 15 minutes left. Of course, that's maximum time left in the game. In terms of the recording, there's only a couple of minutes left, and that means one side or the other is going to concede, as we're not going to be able to reach 500 points before, I mean, only 3 minutes from now. With a +1, it's just not possible. And let's see what causes it. So my Panzergrenadier 90 are up here. They should probably be a bit farther forward, but that's an STRV-103D, and he's probably going to get the kill on my 2A1 if I'm not careful. Again, rate of fire is pretty crazy, down to 1 strength, trying to get just out of his range, and we do manage it right there. Let's see what happens. So this is why the Panzergren, oh man, yeah, he got the kill. Smoke just a second too late. It was probably an attack move though, and I don't think he caught it in time there because my Panzergrenadier 90 do get the Panzerfaust 3 online. This is why I wanted to be probably sitting right here. Apologize for the shake as munitions land in. Oh yeah, we also clustered some of that stuff. I have now gotten my Mars online, and we clustered a command jeep. But that's what I was thinking about. I wonder if this would be a good position, because people, when they retake this forest, tend to put stuff right around the edge, and Panzerfaust 3s will wreck armor of any and all forms. So, I don't know, I thought maybe it's a bit less prone to being predictable and could still get some good kills. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments if you have the inclination or the time. So, KWS is circling, and with the cluster there clearing up Delta for us again, we have stopped my opponent's +1 tick, but we won't get another +1 until I get a replacement CV, which I haven't yet bought. At this point I was just sitting there thinking, okay, I could buy it right now, but this has been a really fragile fight for me. I don't necessarily want to do that until I have a bit more confidence that I can hold this position. There's more Live Garden, there's an APC or IFV, no, is that a second unit of infantry? Yeah, 2 units of infantry moving in. Panzergrenadier 90 should get the kill there. My Lichta MG3 needs to be turned on, but there is a plane coming in, and I don't know what this is. Not really sure. Okay, probably cluster. Yeah, that's the Block 5. We do get the kill, though, and that is worthwhile. So he was clustering my smoke. Probably figured I had another tank in there. Instead, it was a little bit of a trap, and we did manage to get away with it. Now, Führungsgruppe taking a bit of fire. Probably should have scooped them up a bit more, but they do survive, and that is going to be I think really tough for my opponent to deal with now. Yeah, his Live Garden are killing my Panzergrenadier 90. There's a Beacon coming in again. Might actually see a bit of friendly fire here from the Beacon if he's not too careful with it. But I don't know. This just seemed a little bit rough. And then the Gepard A2 moving forward. Matching range and moving in is never a good idea, but here we do technically have a bit of an advantage. 2800 meter range on the main gun compared to 2625. But this is goofy. Look at this. You'd expect him to be firing by now, right? And scrolled up, looking at it, all I saw was a helicopter and a Gepard A2, and I was sitting there going, why aren't I shooting? Why aren't I shooting? He's landed. But helicopters can still fire when they are landed, so he's turned this into a ground-based ATGM, and I have something that can only fire at air, moving into ATGM range here. Just really unfortunate that happened. I was sitting there going, why isn't he dying? Why isn't he dying? Oh crap. I've made a mistake. Yeah, I made a mistake. Oh well. Anyway, we are clustering in. I didn't see it happen again, and this is a little bit cheesy, but I figured he probably recapped it about where it was before, and Upper 2A4 needs to bail out my Legion a bit late for that. It's always a bit of a pain losing Legion 90 carelessly. I didn't think he'd have another STRF on that side. I was wrong. We don't, I think, get the kill here, but we do damage it a little bit, ping it a little bit, and pretty soon that is going to be a GG for my opponent. A little unexpected. I think he just didn't want to deal with it, which I do certainly understand. We were up by about 390, 400-ish points there as well, so that is a bit of a difficult thing to come back from in the late game. So, standout units are going to be the VAB T-2013s, killing Fallskärmjägeri, Stormers, M621s, excellent sort of fire support in the early part of that game. It's a shame I wasn't able to keep them alive. And then Legion 90 did very well. You're getting some Fallskärmjäger 90, CV9230N, automatic. These guys were the guys in the main town who did get that automatic kill as well. And then just Fuchs Milan picking up another automatic. You love to see it. It's pretty awesome. Fighting Falcon was a one-way trip. Love my roll in threes. And that's going to be all we've got for you guys today. Thank you all for hanging around, and we'll see you again real soon.